It's fair to say that cycling's had a bit of a renaissance in the last few years. No longer is it the exclusive domain of weird middle-aged men in skin-tight lycra who shave their legs. Now you can shave your legs, wear skin-tight lycra and still be considered a perfectly respectable adult. This newfound popularity is possibly due to many factors. It's fun, it's good for the environment and has amazing health benefits. But whatever the reason, more and more people are getting on their bikes, be it for sport, leisure or for transport. The big question then is, how do you get into it? At the risk of stating the bleeding obvious, you will at the very least need some kind of bike. And the best place to pick up one of these is actually your local bike shop, or LBS as people in the know call it. If you've not bought one recently, buying a bike can be a little intimidating, but a chat with someone at your local bike shop should help with demystifying most, if not all, of your initial choices. They'll be more than happy to give you plenty of help and advice and suggest different bikes best suited to your needs. At this point, I would suggest getting on first name terms with the owner, because if you stay with cycling for any length, you'll probably end up spending a lot of time there. Bikes come in many different flavours, but for the sake of brevity, let's just talk about the main two, road and mountain. As the name suggests, road bikes are designed for riding on tarmac, be that in the city or in the country. They have thin wheels and are relatively light. Mountain bikes, on the other hand, are generally heavier and more sturdy and were originally designed for off-road use, but they do work pretty well on the road and make excellent commuting bikes. Choosing which type of bike you want to ride will probably be your first decision when taking up cycling, and this will depend very much on the type of riding you want to do. The next decision will be how much you want to spend. While cycling isn't exactly cheap, it doesn't have to be prohibitively expensive. Luckily, there's a bike for every budget. The important thing is to get a half-decent bike, either new or used, that fits you and you'll enjoy riding. It's much better to buy a well-fitting, low-cost bike than a top-of-the-range, expensive machine that you'll ride a couple of times and never ride again because you don't like it. A correctly fitting bike will not only help you ride further and faster, it will also prevent potential injuries and strains. So what about buying a bike online? The main potential benefit of buying from an internet retailer is the price. While it may well be slightly cheaper, you will not have anywhere near the same level of help and advice that you'd get if you went to your local bike shop. If you're lucky, an online retailer may have some kind of telephone helpline or chat thing, but this is usually to answer technical questions about the item you're interested in. Your local bike shop comes into its own because they will not only advise you on make and model, but more importantly sizing. Just as you wouldn't buy ill-fitting shoes or clothes, you wouldn't want a bike that didn't fit properly. If you can afford it, you could always pay a couple of £100 or dollars for a full-on bike fit. These will take a series of body measurements and very accurately calculate the exact dimensions of your perfect bike. Most shops, though, will do a basic bike fit for around £100 or $150, which can sometimes be discounted from the price of a new bike. If nothing else, your local bike shop will give you free sizing advice based on actually looking at you and measurements that you give them. Hopefully this film has introduced you to your local bike shop and highlighted the benefits of buying a bike that actually fits. In my next film, I'll be looking at some of the other things you need to think about when buying a bike.